you have now tuned in to my haves and have-nots recap. Guys, be sure to subscribe if you have not yet done so. Also, be sure to give it that good old thumbs up and share this video wherever you like to share videos, like Google Plus or Twitter or Facebook or wherever, okay? And, you know, of course, I have my main channel as well, which you can check out right now. The only recap that I do on that channel is Love and Hip Hop, so you can definitely check it out over there. It's already up. Okay, so this episode was pretty darn good. And you know what else I saw? If Loving You Is Wrong is coming back. And you already know I'm super excited. Last time it came on, I was just tweeting about it. But this time around, depending on what's happening on Tuesdays, if there's nothing else really significant, I'm most likely going to be reviewing it. Yeah, like I'm ready. I know the characters and I just feel like I know which ones I like. I know which ones I'm like, oh, I know which one I have sympathy for, and I'm just so ready for If Loving You Is Wrong. Like I saw the trailer and I was just like getting a little bit of chills, you know what I'm saying? And also, you know, I'm super excited because it's almost my birthday. The countdown has begun because by the time you see this, it will probably be Wednesday and my birthday's on Thursday. I don't have any exciting plans like that for the actual day, but it's just exciting to know that you're going to be a little bit older. At least to me it is. Like, I always like to celebrate life. Why not? You know? You're alive. So, yeah, I'm about to do a little something to this hair real quick once I finish this recap. Okay, so anyways, Jim and Wyatt, they get into like this heated discussion and it's like they were like challenging each other. The reason why is because Wyatt was talking to Jeffrey and he mentions that he's about to just tell it all, you know, tell everything. And then his father had walked in at that very moment and he hears that and he just thinks that he's ungrateful. And then Jim tells Wyatt to, like, put the bottle down because he notices that he's drinking. So then Jim goes up to challenge him, you know, on some, like, you know, like, what you said, homie? You know, like, he ready to fight and all that. And he's just like, take it out of my hand. Make me do it. Make me. You know, like, challenging his father as well. Because he has so much hurt, so much pain in his heart from what I was seeing. And his father literally goes to take the bottle and drowns him. Drenches the man with the liquor that was inside of it. That would have pissed me off too, because I don't like when people wet me, like just randomly wet me. So, yeah, I would have got mad. I don't care if you're my mama, my daddy, whoever. But at the end of the day, he is trying to help him, but still, like, dang, you put it all over him. So that's when Wyatt goes, punches him, and they're pretty much going blow for blow, which is crazy, you know. You shouldn't really ever fight your parents, but he has so much hate because of all the emails and stuff. Like, everything is out. The cats are out of the bag and they are going amok. They are going crazy. So when he talks to him, when they're like just like having a scene where they're talking, Wyatt reveals that there was some camp or something where he got molested. And like this episode was one of those touching episodes. Like it had a lot going on, and it was also touching to me because there's a lot of things that I dealt with as a child, and I could totally relate to some of the characters. So he was saying that he went to camp and he was molested from what I was hearing, and he also said that he realizes now that his father was. He said he couldn't make it, and the thing was that he was out with Celine. He's like, I've seen all your emails, I read all of them, and his father couldn't even say anything. He looked like he was embarrassed, he was in shock, in disbelief, like, oh my gosh. Like, he read all the things that he wrote about, the things that he did to these women, and I guess when you're a child, you don't really know the full extent. Like, you may think, okay, my dad's a little bit of a scum bucket, my dad's a little bit of a flirt, but you don't know to the full extent of what he was doing. And he didn't know that he was doing all these things to their mother. I guess he didn't realize that their relationship was that bad. So Jeffrey, he calls out to Wyatt. He's trying to help, to protect him. There was a scene where he was like kind of holding him back so that he would stop fighting his father. And the whole time, Veronica is there. Jeffrey, leave him alone. leave Wyatt alone. Like, he act like he was trying to, like, do him or something. Like, it wasn't that serious. He's trying to, at the end of the day, if anything, even regardless of him being gay or not, that's his friend first. So he's trying to make sure his friend is good. Maybe he just does it in a little more of a feminine type of way than most guys would probably do. Maybe a regular guy would just, like, rub your shoulder or give you a little pat, like, yo, bro, it's gonna be okay, type of thing. But he's just a little more affectionate about it. And he's trying to be there for him so that he doesn't end up like Amanda and feel like he doesn't have anyone to talk to or anyone to help him or anything like that. And then as he's going to see what's going on with Wyatt and he's walking towards the stairs, oh, Miss is over here like, go home. And he's like, he's like, he wants to go upstairs. And then his father's like, yeah, you can go upstairs to him. Go ahead and help him out. And his mother's like, no. And she gives him the look of death. She gives him one of those. Like, she stares him down real quick. Like, don't even do it. You already know. I don't play that. I already told you what to do. Do not defy me. She gave him one of those types of looks. So then later on, they show where David, he's just trying to talk to Veronica, like, just leave the guy alone. Leave him alone. Why are you doing this to him? And she's just like, well, he's with Melissa, and bringing up this stupid-ass Melissa again. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to call up Melissa and just tell her to leave him alone because he's gay. And she's like, go ahead. You can do that. That's perfectly fine. I'll do it for you. Give me your phone. I will call her. So when she calls and gives him the phone, I guess she's already rehearsed all these things, all the different scenarios of things that may arise and what she should say. Because once she did it, she did look a little bit shaken up. She looked very uncomfortable as she was talking to David. And he's just like, my son is gay. You need to just leave him alone. Go along your business. And she's just like, well, we're supposed to hang out tomorrow. But you could tell, like, she was, like, shaken up, and she's, like, kind of trying to think about what she should say and keep her voice under control as well. And I'm just looking at Veronica, like, and Veronica, she already knows that everything's going to go down the way she wants it to, so she's just smiling, like, oh, he's wasting his time. I already know what she's going to say. But then, at the end of that, once they hang up, he's like, I know you're up to something. What are you doing? And then they show that our girl, well, she's not my girl, Miss Melissa, is there in the hospital with, well, I don't know who it is, but I'm assuming that maybe it's her father, her older brother. It's somebody that's very close to her. If that's her man, then, like, that's awkward. But I think that it's probably, like, her father or something like that. I think that she's been hired by Veronica in order to switch Jeffrey over, get him to convert to the other side, and then she pays her a hefty amount of money in order to take care of her father and the hospital bills and stuff like that. That's what I'm assuming from that. That's what I was getting. I don't know. Yeah, I think so, right? That's what I think. That's what it looks like to me. So, then David, he says that he said that he wanted to come back home. And Veronica's just like, oh, go back to Maggie, your little stick, and you're not going to come home. Like, she literally looked at him like on some challenging, like, I dare you to come home. And I'm like, you know what? I know it's bad to say that, but David, do you, boo? Like, for real, for real. The reason why I say that is because all she keep on doing is accusing him. I know it looked bad because, yes, he was in the room, and yes, he smelled like her, and yes, his shirt was open, and yes, he looked a little, ruffled up and everything like that. It looked really, really bad, but at the end of the day, he didn't do anything. So if the woman already think that you did it with Maggie, I mean, you might as well do what you gotta do. I'm just saying, I'm sorry, but she already has it made up in her head. There's nothing that he can say or do that can make her think anything differently, unless he was to perhaps take a lie detector test. Perhaps if the results come out that he did not do anything, maybe that's the only way that she would actually say, okay, my husband is telling me the truth. But other than that, she's just gonna keep on assuming that he did something. So go ahead, David, go do what you gotta do. That's all I'm saying. Cause yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really blame him. I wouldn't be mad at him for that. And there was like another part where I guess she called him because Candace was at the bar. She was there. She had came back to the bar, and she called him to tell him so that he can, I guess, talk to her, whatever. And Veronica was there at that moment, and she's like, doesn't she know what time to call a married man? That it's too late to call, that there's certain times that you're supposed to call a married man, or it's too late, or something along those lines. And he's just like, go home, Veronica. And then she walks off in a huff, and she looks like she was about to start crying. And I'm like, this is what you're doing to yourself. Like, he is pretty much like begging and pleading, and this is what has been happening the whole time. He's been begging and pleading for them to work out their relationship. Even though she's so freaking evil, he's still trying to work out the relationship, and she's the one I feel is just messing it up, and just it's super toxic. Hannah, she goes to see Candace at the hotel with Benny, and they have, oh my God, like, I was just watching this, and it was just bringing, like, it was giving me chills, and I was just like, wow, this is an epic moment right here, because all the while I was wondering, why the hell is she so mad at, I was really wondering why Hannah's so mad, and I'm still wondering why the hell Hannah's so freaking mad at Candace, when Candace is a person that should be the person that's upset, you know? But I also see what she feels as well, because now I got way more insight on their mother-daughter toxic relationship. So Hannah, she feels as though Candace has always been ashamed of her for things that she couldn't provide for her, for things that she, as she said, for things that she may have done wrong, and for the bad choices that she made. She apologized for all that. She felt that since Hannah was even like since Candace was even like 9 years old, she always like walked up ahead so that people wouldn't notice she was with the maid. Things like that. So I guess she's been a maid all like throughout her years. And she says, you know, I want you to forgive me. And Candace is like, what else? And I was like, dang, like she's trying to apologize, girl. Just calm down and accept the apology. She was like, no, what else? And she was like, I already apologized for that. And I'm over here like, what the heck is she talking about? Benny didn't even know what they were talking about. And Hannah's like, when I was 22 years old, I had a boyfriend. And Candy was 5 years old. And he molested her. Yeah, so it's pretty much, I guess he used to have his way with her or whatever. He was molesting her. And when Candy told her what happened, Candy's memory, you know, sometimes you tend to block certain things out, or your mind tends to kind of switch things up in order to make it happen a certain way. Or sometimes you get so good at forgetting or trying to forget what occurred that you almost feel like it was just a dream, like it never really happened. None of the molestation ever happened. So that's what I feel like Candace was trying to do throughout her whole life. She's been trying to like push it aside and just be good and make herself be good and do things in order to kind of forget about the pain and all of that stuff, and make sure that she never has to worry about depending on anybody. And she can get the things that she always wanted because her mother was not able to provide it for her. Candace, she says that she remembers that her mother wasn't there for her when they were like interrogating her and talking to her. And she said that he left them. Her mother didn't make this guy leave, but her mother's like, actually, it was me that made him leave. He left because when I approached him, he didn't want to go to jail. So he ended up, that's why he left, because of her. he didn't like just walk out and leave. It was a reason. So I guess somewhere along the way, that message, that whole thing kind of got misconstrued and swiveled and zigzagged into what they both believed was the truth. So yeah, she was literally begging Candace for forgiveness, but Candace has so much hurt and pain within her that it doesn't look like she was really ready to really fully forgive. And her mother, she realized, she's like, yo, like, she knows that everything that she has right now, the expensive hotel and all that stuff, she's like, nobody's going to do that for you. You're not going to get a job that quickly and pass the bar that quickly. You didn't even have time to study with everything that you were going through. So don't give me that. She was like, I know that that's not what you're doing, but you need to really change over your life. Because if you don't, you're going to end up like Amanda. I think that Catherine losing a daughter kind of made her realize that life is really short and she could lose her daughter at any time, especially with the road and things that her daughter's doing. Catherine and Veronica, they have like a little heart-to-heart. They were sitting down and talking, and they were talking about Amanda, and Catherine reveals how she really wanted Amanda to be perfect, but with your kids, you can't really expect them to be what you want them to be. You have to kind of just let them spread their wings and fly and kind of guide them. And because they're their own people, they're human beings, and they're going to do what they want to do. And when she says that, before Veronica is ready to leave, she does tell her, Jeffrey's gay. And Veronica just looks at her like, what? She's like, he's gay. And he's going to be gay tomorrow. He's going to be gay the next day. Like, he's going to always be gay. Regardless to what you want, he's not going to be what you want him to be. You can't change him into the person that you would like him to be. And Veronica, she was, of course, getting super defensive because she is in denial. She does not want to believe that. She will not accept that. It seems like she would rather him get hurt than to admit to herself and to anyone else that her son is gay. She even threw some shade towards her friend's direction, talking about we raised our kids differently. Because Catherine was like, you've seen what happened to Wyatt, and you don't want them to turn out like Catherine. No, what did she say? I think she said, you don't want them to turn out like Wyatt and Amanda, or you see what happened to Amanda and Wyatt. And she was like, we raised our kids differently. And Catherine was like, oh no, wait a minute, because you know Catherine right now, she's on her little bit of a gangster streak. So she's like, what's that supposed to be? She was just like, oh, nothing. We're friends. She's like, say what you gotta say. Say it. Say it. Like, you know, like, you would never set foot up in this house again. You're trying to run with my husband? Like, come on. You know, this will be the end of your career. So Veronica, she made the smart move, and instead of continuing to insult her friend and put her feelings into this, she took the approach to just say, it's getting late and we're friends and we're not going to do this. I'm going to leave now. You know, one of those types of things. She pretty much refrained from taking it any further. Jeffrey, he goes home, and when he goes home, there on his couch, he thought it was like another setup that I'm like, you ain't learned from the first time that Candace didn't set you up. Like, wouldn't you be a little more on defense if she did it the first time and it wasn't really her? I mean, me, I'd have been like, you know, I would have been on defense. But at least one good thing about it was that he called Candace right away and left her a voicemail to say, why are you having this guy over here? I'm already done with this stuff. I don't want to play this game. So then when he tries to, hey, you, get up, get out of here. You know, try to wake the dude up that's on his couch. It just happens to be Quincy. So Quincy, he's like, he wants to know where Candace is. And of course, although he knows the information, he doesn't want to give it to him because he knows that it's only going to be trouble for Candace. So being a good friend that he is, Jeffrey's like, nah, I'm not giving you that information. I don't know it. And then she tries to get him to open up his phone. He's like, nah, like, I'm not doing it. So then he's like, so Quincy and his dumb self, I'm like, yo, what kind of gangster are you? Like, for real, for real? What happened to the code? The stop snitching code? You done told all the juice, honey. You done told it all. You spilled the juice. He tells him that his mother didn't say that he had that much heart. And I guess he just thought he was going to say, tell me where she is, and he was going to be shook and tell him exactly where she was. But that's not what happened. And yeah, Jeffrey was holding his own. I was like, boy, you need to do this to your mama. What happened? He don't want to get cut off from the funds. That's the whole thing. That's the problem. When you're used to that good money, you don't want it to stop. It's addictive. So Quincy, he's just there, and he's still trying to threaten him. And then he tells all the stuff about the mother and how the mother was a gangster. The mother's heavily involved. She's the one that got him out of prison in order to do this job or whatever. And Jeffrey was like in disbelief in the beginning. So he called up his mother, and his mother pretty much confirmed Quincy's story. She talked to him real quick, and then gave her son back the phone. And he's like, Mom, you had something to do with this? You did this? And she's just like, don't worry, he won't hurt you. Just tell him where she is. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. And then she's like, well, he is going to hurt you then. And I'm like, what kind of mother is she? You know, as we've been saying throughout all these episodes, we have like this love-hate relationship. But right now it's more on the hate side, because at the end of the day, this is your child. This is your son. You don't know what this man is capable of doing. If he harms him, what are you going to do now? Then what? Then you're going to regret, you're going to cry, because you must care about him somewhat if you want him to be this perfect guy who has this woman and, you know, and continues the legacy of the family or whatever. She must care somewhat, unless she's just doing it because she has him. It's like, okay, I have a son, so I might as well show him out there, but I can't show out a gay son. I don't know. I don't know. The way she loves is just not the way to love. And she's kind of pushing everybody away from her and just making everyone despise her. And it's messed up. But she's going to learn when she's just like alone and miserable by herself, because it's starting to happen. I have a feeling that soon David is just going to be like, you know what? He's not even going to ask to come home anymore. He's just not going to come. You know, he's just such a good person that she's taking advantage of it and riding that little monkey all the way to the end of the road, you know? But we're going to see what happens. They did end up fighting, though. He put on his little brass knuckles, and they were fighting. So I'm really hoping that he doesn't hurt him too badly. But we'll see on the next one. All right, guys. What do you think? I'm just, Veronica just pissed me off again. All right, guys, be sure to stay fabulous, live free, and soar limitless. I will see you in the next one. Laters.